Alright, so today we are going to take a look at the firewalling functionality of Mikrotik. I know, Mikrotik is a router. Right, I understand it. But it does have some firewall functionalities. You can do some stuff with it. For example, controlling the packets coming in or going out, or even packets are destined to the router itself. So it can be very useful to manage the traffic from inside your network and from outside of your network and have a control of it. So stay with me to the end of this video and I will tell you some of the functionalities that are missing in Mikrotik and why you should invest in a real firewall. Alright, if you log into Mikrotik, you will see a firewall tab under IP to the firewall. And if you click it, you will have some tabs. By the way, this is the latest Winbox, it's version 4, so the look might be different, but the functionality remains the same. With the version 3, you can find firewall configuration under IP and in the firewall section. So there you have 4 tabs. First of all is filter rules, and second is NOT, and the third one mangle, and the last one is raw. We have a bunch of other tabs as well, but let's see what do they mean particularly. So the filter rule or table is the main firewall for accepting, dropping or rejecting traffic. The chains for this table are input traffic to router itself, or forward, which is traffic passing through the router, or output traffic from the router. Yes, router itself can also generate some traffic and we can have control over that one. You may ask, what does the chain mean? Chain is a terminology you use in Mikrotik because the whole firewall thing is a chain of actions that follow one after the other. So because of easier understanding, I have mentioned the chains here, but today we are not going to take a look at the chains and Mikrotik packet flow diagram. That's something for next video. And we have NAT table, which is responsible for translating addresses, usually for sharing internet or port forwarding. The chains are source NAT, masquerading, destination NAT, and port forwarding. The next one is mangle one. The mangle table is responsible for marking, modifying packets, for routing, quality of service, for example, for voice usage, for video usage, and etc. And other advanced features, which we will take a look at it. The chains responsible for mangle are per routing, input, forward, output, and post routing. Again, I'm going to explain this in another video. The next one is a raw table. This one is very useful for early filtering before connection tracking. This is specifically for performance and dropping the unwanted traffic. Very useful for DDoS protection. It's for per routing and output. Alright, so if we go back to here, we have another tab which is called connections. The connections tab shows the state of the active connections. Now, what does it mean? In the world of firewalling, we have two terms, stateful and stateless. By default, Mikrotik is a stateful firewall. What does it mean? That means every packet that has passed through Mikrotik, the state of it is already stored. So Mikrotik remembers there was a packet passed through that, and it stays alerted for the incoming reply and tracks it. This one is very useful for making decisions based on the context of the connection. While a stateless firewall is just checking the traffic based on individual packets without considering their history or context, the larger conversion. Stateful firewalls are more advanced and more used these days compared to a stateless. But Mikrotik routers are good enough to be able to work as a stateless as well. There's an option by altering that one, you can have a stateless route, but by default it's a stateful. Okay, you might ask yourself, Why do we split it in different tables? The first reason is because of performance. This allows Mikrotik to do some performance improvement. For example, the usage of raw table. The raw table is responsible for dropping very quickly the junk traffic. This can improve the overall performance of Mikrotik. The second one is because of the functions. So they have made different tables to segregate the functions, to distinguish the functions. For example, for filter rule, you definitely want to filter the traffic itself, and for NAT rules, you consider masquerading or hiding behind an IP or doing destination NAT or other functionality. And for Mangle, you prefer to do some optimization on routing and prioritization. And the last one is because of organization. So this helps you to easier manage a complex rule when they are separated. Okay, so now we know Mikrotik has some firewalling functions. But can we consider or compare it to a modern firewall like FortiGate or PaloAlto? The answer is no. The Mikrotik firewalling functionality is very limited. For example, I give you some ideas about why FortiGate or PaloAlto firewalls are way better than a router like Mikrotik. First of all is deep packet inspection and application control. On Mikrotik, you cannot do that as enhanced as FortiGate and PaloAlto. The functions are very limited. Mikrotik cannot be your IPS or IDS, intrusion prevention system or intrusion detection system. It cannot detect any intrusion or even prevent it. Mikrotik is very limited in web filtering functionality, but for FortiGate and PaloAlto, this is so easy to do. SSL inspection is not supported by Mikrotik, but with FortiGate and PaloAlto, it is fully supported. You cannot define user-based policy. This is very basic and it's very difficult to apply. But with FortiGate or PaloAlto, it's so easy to grant access to the network based on users. Another one is threat intelligence. Mikrotik does not have any threat intelligence service. What does it mean? For FortiGate, PaloAlto, they are usually connected to a cloud environment, the vendor itself, and they get latest databases of the viruses and keeps your firewall updated with the latest changes to secure your network. But this is not the case with Mikrotik. Another feature which is Mikrotik is missing is sandboxing or advanced threat protection. When a packet is arrived in FortiGate or PaloAlto, if the packet behavior, the stream of the packet is very strange, unknown, unrecognized by FortiGate or PaloAlto, they usually send it to sandboxing. What does it mean? The sandboxing means you have an isolated environment which you can study the behavior of the packet or the traffic stream and make sure the traffic is legit. There's nothing wrong with the traffic. Then you can allow, or through your analysis, you understand this is not legit and you will block it. So sandboxing is not possible with Mikrotik. Another one, Mikrotik has really basic syslog features. You cannot do deep logging or reporting, but these are no issue with FortiGate or PaloAlto. The automation and API, Mikrotik is very basic. We recently have API for Mikrotik, but it's very basic. But for the rest of firewalls, like FortiGate and PaloAlto, this is so easy. And policy management in Mikrotik is very simple. If you are following my channel, I have created some videos about FortiGate, and there you can clearly compare the power of the FortiGate with Mikrotik to just understand what I'm talking about. Of course, that's a firewall that's designed, the functionality is totally different, and this is a Mikrotik. Mikrotik is a router, not a firewall. But still, it's firewall functionality is very useful and very handy. So this was the basic. This was the first video about Mikrotik Firewalling. The next video I will explain about the chains, about the tables, and about the packet flow through the Mikrotik. And the video after one, we will start making our hand dirty with the configuration. All right, take care and see you next video.